about a year of preparation, working as a team together. After we've gone through the notorious SEAL screening process known as BUDS, but we train to work together as a team in order to deploy in combat. And something that Jocko taught us right away is I'd been to Iraq before, I'd been to a workup before, but something that he taught us was, look, we had to take ownership of problems and solve those problems, and something that we eventually called extreme ownership. And that's something that he taught us and that we implemented on the battlefield with some great success. So if I can rewind just a little bit, if you remember the war in Iraq back in 2005, as we're going through this workup, things weren't going too well. Enemy attacks were up 300%. Al-Qaeda in Iraq had a massive following. Foreign fighters were trickling in from all over the world to get their jihad on against America. Of all the places in Iraq, Anbar province, this huge western province here, was the most dangerous. It accounted for about 80% of U.S. casualties. Of all the places in Anbar, Ramadi, the capital city of 400,000 people, was the most dangerous.
Yeah, just to kind of go a little bit history lesson, we were in Baghdad. There was a lot of bad guys in Baghdad when we first got there in 2003. When I first got there in 2004, they kind of pushed out to Fallujah. In 2004, the Marines did a massive sweep through Fallujah and cleared out a bunch of bad guys, and they all settled down in a place called Ramadi. So we were actually deploying to Baghdad, is where we were told to be ready for. I actually went on a pre-deployment site survey to check where we were going to be in Baghdad. And literally 2 weeks before we went on deployment, Leif and everyone was on leave, and they called me in and said, hey, you're not going to Baghdad, you're going to Ramadi. And Ramadi was, at the time, like Leif said, it was the capital of Al-Anbar province, but it would have as many enemy attacks a day as almost the rest of all of Iraq. It was crazy bad. Right before we got there, a report came out from the Marine Corps, and if you've ever know anything about the Marine Corps, they're very tough, they're great guys, they're very determined, and the head intelligence officer for the Marine Corps in Al-Anbar province had a report get leaked to the press. And the report said that Al-Anbar province and Ramadi could not be won. And his actual quote was that Ramadi and Al-Anbar province are all but lost. So this is what we deployed into. Some images here kind of depict what it was. Rubbled out buildings, insurgents roaming the streets. Every building had bullet holes in it. There was massive IED attacks on a daily basis, and that's where we went.
When we showed up to turn over the SEAL platoon that had been in Ramadi for the 6 months prior to us, they pointed to huge areas of the map, about 2/3 of the geographic area of the city, and said, don't even go in there because you're going to all get killed and nobody can even come get you out.
And how many of you were there?
We had about 36 SEALs and about 90 support personnel.
Okay.
Jocko was in charge of that entire thing. I was in charge of 16 of those SEALs, and we had our augments, and we brought with us our EOD bomb technicians. And then, of course, we were working and training with Iraqi soldiers, so we had interpreters that would go out with us as well, and other folks that we work with.